Today it's into the FX Global Code.
The rule book for, good behavior
Yeah.
in the crazy world of foreign exchange.
We've got excerpts from the July 2021 update. And
You might be surprised
yeah, you might be surprised.
how relevant this is to, well, everyone,
Yeah.
even if you don't work at a bank.
Right. Trillions of dollars change hands every single day
Yeah.
on this market, impacting, well, everything.
Pretty much your morning coffee to global investment strategies.
So let's set the scene here.
Okay.
Who exactly does this code apply to?
So think central banks, asset managers, corporate treasury departments,
Right.
really anyone involved in
Generals.
wholesale FX.
Wholesale.
But not retail folks like us
Yeah,
changing money for vacation.
Got it. So for those who do play in this wholesale arena,
Right.
why should they care about this FX Global Code?
Because it sets the standard for, well, everything.
Yeah.
Ethical conduct, operational integrity. It's about ensuring a level playing field
Yeah.
where everyone understands the rules
Right.
and plays by them.
A guide
You could say that.
to navigating
Yeah.
the ethical complexities of this
Mhm.
massive market.
Exactly.
Okay.
And to break it down,
Yeah.
that code outlines 6 key principles:
6. Okay.
ethics, governance, execution, information sharing, risk management and compliance, and confirmation and settlement.
Got it. Let's dive into the first one.
Okay.
Ethics.
Yeah.
This seems pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
right? Don't be shady. Be honest.
It sounds simple.
Yeah.
But in a market
Yeah.
as fast-paced
Yeah.
and as competitive as FX,
Right.
ethical lines can blur.
Totally.
The code emphasizes acting with integrity,
Mhm.
fairness, and honesty.
Okay, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Imagine you're a trader
Okay.
and you get wind of a client about to make a massive purchase
Sure.
of a particular currency. Do you use that information
Uh-huh.
to make a quick profit for yourself? Right. Before executing the client's order. That's a clear ethical violation, according to the code.
Yeah, because it undermines trust.
Yeah.
It creates
Yeah.
an uneven playing field.
Exactly.
So ethical behavior is about putting the client's interests first
Mhm.
and avoiding those.
Mhm.
Conflicts of interest.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the second principle.
Okay.
Governance. Now, governance
Yeah.
is a word that can make anyone's eyes glaze over.
It can.
So could we break this down, make it relevant?
Absolutely.
Quickly?
Think of governance as the framework
Okay.
that keeps an organization sailing smoothly.
Okay.
It's about clear responsibilities, solid oversight,
Mhm.
and a culture where people feel comfortable
Yeah.
challenging decisions.
So instead of a free-for-all,
Right.
there's a structure in place
Yes.
to ensure accountability
Hmm.
and responsible.
Decision making.
Precisely.
Okay.
Imagine a trading desk
Yeah.
where no one's quite sure
Yeah.
who's responsible for what.
And there's no one looking over their shoulder.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster.
That's scary.
Right. Good governance helps prevent those situations.
Got it.
So,
On to the next principle,
okay.
execution.
Execution.
Now, this is where the rubber meets the road.
This is it.
Right.
Yeah.
This is where those currency trades actually happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
Execution dives into the nitty-gritty
Yeah.
of how transactions are handled. A key aspect here is transparency about roles.
Okay.
Are you acting for your own account, meaning as a principal,
Mm-hmm.
or on behalf of a client as an agent?
Okay, why is that distinction so important?
Because it impacts responsibilities
Okay,
and potential conflicts of interest.
got it.
If you're acting as a principal, you might be tempted to prioritize
Yeah,
your own profits
Yeah.
over the client's best interests.
right.
Transparency ensures everyone understands the roles
Okay.
and potential conflicts upfront.
So it's about setting clear expectations and avoiding those situations
Right.
where someone feels misled
Right.
or taken advantage of.
Precisely.
This next principle is particularly interesting.
Okay.
Information sharing.
Information sharing.
It sounds a bit like a spy thriller,
It does.
balancing secrecy and transparency.
You could say information is a valuable commodity
Yes.
in the FX market.
Right.
Knowing when to share and, more importantly,
Yeah.
when to hold back
Right.
is crucial.
So what kind of information should be kept under wraps?
Think client orders, trading strategies, anything that could give someone an unfair advantage
Yeah.
or disrupt the market. If
Yeah.
it were to leak out,
Well, like playing poker.
it is.
Right. You don't want to show your opponents your hand.
Exactly.
But I imagine there are times when sharing information
Yes.
can actually be beneficial.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sharing anonymized market trends,
Okay.
what we call market color,
Market color.
is actually encouraged.
Interesting.
It helps create a more...
Transparent and efficient market.
Okay, so it's about striking that balance between protecting sensitive information and fostering transparency, sharing insights without giving away the game.
Exactly.
And speaking of balance, our next principle is all about
risk management.
Risk management.
And compliance.
And compliance.
Now, this sounds like the safety net.
It is.
For when things go wrong, which they inevitably do.
They do.
In a market.
As complex. Absolutely.
Right.
Even with a rule book.
Yeah.
Like the FX global code risks are inherent in this market. We're talking about potential losses from factors like fluctuating exchange rates, counterparty default, even simple human error.
Okay, so what are some of the key takeaways from this principle?
Okay.
What should our listener know?
The code stresses the importance of having robust frameworks in place to identify, assess, and mitigate those risks.
Got it.
Think of it as a multi-layered defense system for your trading operations.
So, clear policies and procedures.
Yes.
Rigorous risk assessments. Constant monitoring of those trading activities.
Exactly.
Got it. So, on to our final principle for today.
Okay.
Confirmation and settlement.
Confirmation and settlement.
Now, this sounds like the paperwork stage.
Kind of.
Right. Making sure everything is documented and finalized correctly.
It might sound a bit mundane, but it's actually crucial to ensuring a smooth and trustworthy market. We're talking about confirming trade details, ensuring timely settlement, and minimizing those nail-biting moments.
I can imagine.
Where you're wondering if the money will actually arrive.
So it's like the final handshake.
Right.
After a deal, making sure all the terms are clear and everyone fulfills their obligations. The code encourages using systems like payment versus payment settlement, where you only pay when you simultaneously receive the currency. You bought like a secure escrow service.
Yes.
Okay, so we've gotten a high-level overview.
We have
these 6 principles.
Right.
But how about we dig a little deeper?
Let's do it.
So let's start with principle 8.
Okay.
Which focuses on transparency in execution. It talks about being upfront about your capacity, whether you're acting as a principal or an agent.
Okay.
Can you give us a real-world example of how this plays out and why it matters?
Imagine a scenario where a large investment fund wants to buy Norwegian krone.
Okay.
They contact a bank to execute the trade. If the bank acts as an agent, they'll go to the market, execute the order, add their pre-agreed fee, and provide a transparent breakdown to the client. The client knows exactly what they're paying for.
So it's like a broker
Yes.
Facilitating a stock purchase.
Exactly.
They execute the trade.
Right.
On your behalf.
Right.
And charge.
A commission.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, let's say another client wants to buy euros.
Okay.
But their relationship with the bank is principal-based.
Principal-based.
Okay. This means the bank is essentially trading from its own inventory.
Got it.
Or taking on the risk itself.
Interesting. So the bank might be using its own euros or going to the market to buy them.
Right.
But the client still gets their euros.
Correct.
Okay.
The key here is transparency.
Transparency. Got it.
Both scenarios are legitimate.
Yeah.
But being upfront about your role is crucial.
Right.
It manages expectations
Yeah.
and avoids potential conflicts down the line.
Makes sense. Now let's talk about Principle 9.
Good.
Handling orders fairly and transparently.
Right.
This sounds simple enough.
It does.
But I bet it gets tricky.
You bet.
In practice, imagine a bank receiving multiple orders for the same currency pair around the same time. How do they prioritize those orders? The code talks about concepts like order aggregation and time prioritization.
Okay, break those down for me.
Sure.
What do those actually mean in practice?
Order aggregation means combining multiple orders to potentially get a better price for everyone involved.
Okay.
It's like bulk buying, getting a discount. for larger quantities.
Right, right.
Time prioritization, on the other hand, is about fairness. It means processing orders in the sequence. They were received no preferential treatment for anyone.
So even in the fast-paced world of electronic trading, it's about maintaining a level playing field.
Exactly.
First come.
First come.
First served.
First served.
All right.
The code highlights that disclosing a policy and then violating it is unacceptable.
Totally.
For example, a bank can't say they process orders chronologically and then jump a favored client to the front of the line.
Right, right.
It's about...
You got to walk the walk.
Walk the walk.
Not just talk the talk.
Talk the talk.
Right. Transparency builds trust.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to an interesting example.
Okay.
Provided in Principle 10.
Okay.
Which delves into handling orders fairly and transparently when it comes to different order types.
Order types.
Okay, this sounds like where things can get.
This is where it gets...
really nuanced.
Really nuanced.
Yeah.
Imagine a bank receives a large sell order for a specific currency pair at a fixing rate.
Okay.
They're acting. As a principle, the code gives a positive example. Where the bank, recognizing the order's potential to disrupt the market and negatively impact, the client's price decides to hedge a portion of the order before the fixing window.
So they're taking steps to minimize market impact and secure a better rate.
For the client.
Exactly. It demonstrates a proactive approach to risk management and a commitment to acting in the client's best interest.
Now, contrast that with a negative example where a bank receives a similar order but decides to take advantage of this information by trading for its own account before the fixing time.
That's a red flag.
Red flag.
It's exploiting confidential client information for personal gain.
Right.
This behavior is clearly condemned by the FX Global Code.
Makes sense. It erodes trust.
It does.
Creates an uneven playing field.
It does.
Let's move on to Principle 11.
Okay.
And the concept of pre-hedging.
Pre-hedging.
Now, this is a practice that allows a market participant acting as a principal
to manage the risk of an anticipated client order before it's executed. It can be a way to secure a better price for the client.
Especially with large orders that could move the market.
So like a surfer anticipating and positioning themselves to ride it smoothly.
Perfect analogy.
Okay.
But the key here, as highlighted by the code, is transparency.
The transparency.
The client needs to be aware of the pre-hedging activity.
So the code provides an example where a client asks for a quote for a large amount during a period of low liquidity. And the bank, acting as a principal, decides to test the market depth before providing a quote.
Right, by selling a small amount, they can gauge the market reaction and potentially offer a better price to the client.
Okay.
This is an example of pre-hedging done right.
Transparent. Benefits the client. And considers the market impact. But the annex also provides a negative example.
It does.
Where a bank receives a large buy order and exploits this information to profit for their own account rather than using pre-hedging to benefit the client.
That's a clear violation.
Violation,
They're essentially using the client's information to manipulate the market for personal gain. This behavior undermines the very foundation of a fair and transparent market.
Moving on to Principle 12.
Okay.
It warns against manipulating the market.
Okay.
The example provided involves a market participant trying to sell a large amount of a currency pair instead of placing a large sell order. They engage in a series of small buy orders beforehand.
The old spoofing tactic. Spoofing they're trying to create. The illusion of buying pressure, hoping to inflate the price before dumping their large sell order.
Deceptive. And manipulative.
Manipulative.
It's like creating a fake social media trend to pump up a stock price.
Exactly. The code explicitly condemns this behavior.
Right.
Market participants should not engage in activities designed to mislead others or create artificial market conditions.
And this principle extends to stop-loss orders as well, right?
Absolutely. The code provides an example
Okay.
where a participant, knowing a large stop-loss order exists at a specific price, intentionally places sell orders just above that level to trigger the stop-loss and buy back the currency at a lower price. Again,
manipulating the market.
Manipulating for
personal gain.
For personal gain.
Yeah, it highlights the need.
It does.
For vigilance. And a strong ethical compass.
Ethical compass.
In the FX market.
Absolutely.
Now, Principle 13 emphasizes the importance of transparency. And establishing reference prices. Especially when things get a bit messy.
A bit messy.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Okay, tell me more. Imagine a stop-loss order being executed, but due to rapid market movements, there's slippage. Meaning the execution price is slightly worse than the stop-loss level. The code stresses that market participants should be transparent about how they establish reference prices in these situations.
So if a bank has a policy of using the first available price after a stop loss is triggered, they need to communicate this clearly to the client.
Clearly upfront.
No surprises.
No surprises. Transparency is crucial for managing expectations and avoiding disputes.
Down the line. Now, Principle 14 talks about markup.
Markup.
That spread between the price a market participant pays for a currency and the price they sell it to a client. What should our listener keep in mind about this?